Some burdens are obvious. We can name them, trace them, point to where they began, but others live quietly beneath the surface. They are not just ours, they are passed down, carried through generations. This is the unseen burden of inherited emotional patterns. We like to imagine we are born as blank slates, but psychology and even biology tell us otherwise. We carry not just the color of our eyes or the shape of our face, we carry the emotional imprints of those who came before us, their coping strategies, their unspoken griefs, even their silence can become our own. Psychologists call it intergenerational transmission. Trauma and patterns don't end with one person, they ripple outward. Studies in epigenetics show that severe stress can actually alter gene expression, which means the fear, the vigilance, even the anxiety of one generation can biologically prime the nervous system of the next. But inheritance is not just genetic, it's also emotional. A child absorbs the atmosphere of their home, the way anger is expressed or never expressed, the way love is shown or withheld, the way pain is hidden, numbed, or denied. Without realizing it, the child learns, this is how we survive, this is how we cope, this is how we love. And those lessons become patterns they carry into adulthood. Every family has its rules, most never spoken aloud. We don't talk about feelings here. We don't cry. We keep everything together, no matter what. We survive by working hard, by never complaining, by pretending we're fine. These rules are not written, but they shape entire lives. A daughter may grow up silencing her own needs because she watched her mother do the same. A son may learn to hide vulnerability because his father taught him that tenderness equals weakness. These are inherited emotional patterns. They are passed down not as advice, but as atmosphere. And like air, they are invisible until you try to breathe differently. The burden of inherited patterns is heavy precisely because it is unseen. You may feel an anxiety that doesn't match your life circumstances. You may carry guilt that isn't truly yours. You may live with fears that seem irrational, but make sense if you trace them back to the stories of your ancestors. Maybe your grandmother endured abandonment, and now you cling to relationships with an intensity you don't understand. Maybe your father grew up in poverty, and now you hoard or overwork even when you have enough. These aren't just quirks of personality, they are echoes, emotional DNA. The psyche's attempt to keep alive the survival strategies of those who came before you. The girl who grows up carrying her mother's silence may never realize she is grieving for two. The boy who inherits his father's unspoken rage may spend years fighting shadows that aren't even his own. The hidden grief of emotional inheritance is this: you are living with feelings that don't fully belong to you, and yet they shape you. They whisper in your choices, your relationships, your fears. This grief is subtle, but real. The grief of never having met your true self, untouched by the burdens of the past. But here is where psychology meets hope. Patterns can be inherited, but they can also be interrupted. The first step is awareness, naming what was once invisible, asking yourself, what patterns am I living that don't feel like mine? What burdens am I carrying that may have started long before me? Therapists call this differentiation, separating your own identity from the emotional scripts handed down to you. It's not about blaming our families, it's about recognizing that they too were shaped by forces before them. Healing begins when one person in a lineage chooses differently, when one person says, the silence ends with me, the cycle of rage ends with me, the story of unworthiness ends with me. In many feminine traditions, we are taught that to heal ourselves is to heal backwards and forwards at the same time. When you learn to feel what your mother could not, you are not only freeing yourself, you are freeing her memory. and the generations before her who were silenced. When you choose tenderness where your father chose hardness, you open the possibility for your children, or simply for the world around you, to live differently. Healing is not just personal, it is ancestral, and the unseen burden you carry can become an unseen blessing when transformed. The unseen burden of inherited emotional patterns is real. It is heavy, but it is not destiny. You are not only the product of your lineage, you are also the interruption, the shift, the doorway into a new story, and maybe the deepest act of love you can give, not just to yourself, but to those who came before you, is this: to finally put down what was never fully yours and to step into a life that is. Thank you for sitting with me in this reflection. If this spoke to you, know that you are not alone. Many of us are carrying more than we realize, and many of us are choosing right now to lay those burdens down.